Hey everybody, I thought today that we might talk a little bit about conflict. And this video is really maybe a little bit more for your parents and how to deal with conflict that you may be having with one another or as siblings, or conflict with your mom and dad. Because this is the time that we've been out of school for about a month now, and I'm hearing more and more about there's just everybody's getting cabin fever and arguing a bit more, losing patience with one another. And it's really important that we maybe talk a little bit about this and how to have more patience, be understanding of one another, and work through a little bit of conflict. So today I wanted to talk about that and maybe some questions that you can be asking each other or your parents can use to talk with you when you've had conflict with them. So again, remembering that conflict is normal. Sometimes we have a lot more in our families because, hey, they're our families, and that's what we can do in a way because we know that they love and accept us. But sometimes it can get overboard as well. So I thought that might be a good topic to talk about today is having conflict and what are some things that we can do. And again, one of the best things that you can do to prevent conflict is practicing, again, that self-control, taking some deep breaths, stop and think, what should I do before I say or do anything? What should I do to calm myself down? When you're faced with a problem and you don't know what to do, you've got to stop and think about it. What you gonna do? What should I do? What's a better way to handle that? Stop and think before I say or do something that I really don't mean, but it just comes out. And then we have to be able to try to fix that when we've said or done something mean or hurtful to each other. And so you know some of those skills, and I just want to remind you of those today that for you little ones, hands are not for hurting, they're for helping. And we need to use our words. Again, what's in our heart is what we spend time thinking about, and what we think about comes out our words and our actions, what we say and what we do. And we always want those to be kind and considerate, but we also know sometimes they're not. Sometimes we blow it, we have conflict, and we need to solve that and make an apology. And remember, one of the things that we have talked about over and over again is how to make an apology. And sorry never cuts it. Never. Sorry is just a word. You have to be able to say what you did. And so addressing that person by name, whether that's your parents, a sibling, friends, I'm sorry for, and you have to say what you did. And that's really important that you say what you're sorry for. And then you ask for forgiveness. And that's what a true apology is that you let people know that you truly are, that the apology comes from your heart. You say what you did, and you ask for their forgiveness, and you work on some skills to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I wanted to go over that. And then the last thing I wanted to go through is talking about some family conflict questions. And I thought these are really good. And again, this is a little bit more for your parents, but you older kids can use these as well. That we're spending a lot of extra time together as a family. And we know that sometimes that just is going to breed conflict. And just by virtue of you're spending a lot more time than normally you're used to. And that gets people frustrated. And sometimes we say and do things that we really don't mean. And so we want again, when we have conflict, to use that empathy that we've talked about before. Using empathy, trying to understand the other person's feelings and perspective, and then to restore the relationship, and hoping that helps it not to happen again. Or if it does, you know what to do and how to solve that problem. So there's a few questions I wanted to go over. And again, this part of the video is more for parents And you older kids can ask these questions too. But the first question is, what were you feeling when it happened? And how do you feel now? And so that helps us to really understand, what was I feeling at the time of that conflict that I said or did something in the heat of the moment, and how am I feeling now? So it helps us to distinguish between then and now. Another question is, how did doing that hurt your brother or sister, your mom or dad? How did that hurt them? And it's important to kind of think through, what I said or what I did, how was that hurtful to the other person? What do you need to feel better and move on from this? So what is going to help moving on? Maybe you're the person that did it, or you're the person that received the behavior or the words. What's going to make it better to move on? What were you wanting or needing when you made that choice? What was it that you wanted? Were you jealous? Were you upset about something? What will you do differently next time? Hey, next time I'll try to stop and think before I say or do something I really don't mean. I'll think about the golden rule, treat others the way I want to be treated. What can you do to fix this or make it better? And that's important. If you're the one that said or did something that was unkind, mean, hurtful, what can you do to fix it? What can you do to show that person you really want to change and you want to do better? Maybe you can do something kind for that person. And then finally, what was your brain saying? What were you thinking when you made those choices? Do you remember? Sometimes when we're really angry, maybe we don't remember. And so spending some time to think about that, and how can I make this right? How can I begin to change my thinking and my behavior, and making sure that I am the person I truly want to be, and that we know that you can be. So those are some things to talk about, to think about today, that I wanted to share with you. Again, I really miss you guys, and thanks for tuning into these videos that we're putting on the YouTube channel. And again, if you need anything, you can email me and we can set up a time to visit. And so thanks so much. Bye-bye.